Michigan's just a nice spot because it's like every 30 minutes you drive, there's a hotbed of players
Yeah.
that are training or skating. Like you got USA Arena where there's a bunch of guys training skating. You got where we're at training skating. You got guys at Michigan State, Michigan,
Yeah. I mean,
everywhere.
Detroit's always been a hockey hotbed, like with
Yeah, there's a lot of
you know, CompuWare, Victory Honda, which you played for, Little Caesars, Honey Baked, and of course, like the underdog, probably the best one of them all, the University of Detroit Jesuit Academy.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Like
You the underdog.
you never played for like Caesars and stuff. That's crazy.
Never, yeah.
You were just a grinder. You were a dog.
Just double A, baby. Double A and then high school.
Double A. It's
I
a
loved it, though.
much nicer route for your parents, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The only
Right?
thing about that,
Because AAA is way more expensive.
yeah, you're way more expensive. You're traveling more, but I actually played double A. I didn't never even try it out for a triple A team or anything. Like I don't know if I would have made it or not, but I played double A because I wanted to play football and I wanted to play basketball and I wanted to play lacrosse.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like,
I seen this guy run routes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Buzz Pod. Real quick, before we get this episode started, we just want to let you know you can find us on Instagram at the BuzzPod_. And please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Buzz Pod. You can find all our episodes there and you can watch them.
Joining us today on episode 98 are two best friends, two Michigan State captains, two guys from Michigan, and two legends named Tom. Welcome Tommy Apap and Tommy Miller to the Buzz Pod. Being that you didn't play AAA, Paps, what were some of the things you were doing growing up?
Oh man, honestly, so growing up, like when I was young, I was swimming in the summer, playing tennis in the summer, and then football would start in August. So I played spring hockey,
Yep.
and then we wouldn't start till the fall. But in the summer, I was just doing like random things, but
Yeah.
not training.
Becoming an
'cause
athlete.
Yeah, I was kind of more just becoming an athlete, which I guess if you look at it, could be a certain kind of training if
Yeah.
you're working on different elements of your athleticism.
Yeah.
But I was just playing. I mean, I loved hockey from day one, really. My dad put a rink in the backyard. I think I was 2 years old. He built the first rink, and then every year we'd build a rink after that. So I didn't have like I loved hockey, but I didn't have it in my head that I would like ever only play hockey until I got older, until I was in high school, and I was like, I would love to make this a career. But even then, I kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but even then in high school, I was playing hockey and lacrosse at U of D Jesuit in Detroit.
Shout out.
And shout out to U of D. And it was for me, it was the best experience. I was playing with my really good group of buddies. I just saw them last weekend. It's great. Like we all keep in touch and we're really tight. So coming to the rink every day with the guys that you're going to school with, that was awesome. And so I never felt like I was missing out on anything by not playing AAA. But like thinking about it, maybe if I did, I could have some more skill or I could be better skater, things like that. But I think for me it helped playing other sports and helping become more of a well-rounded athlete.
For sure. Has there been any other guys come out of U of D? Because I mean, you were never under a point per game. You could be like a legend there.
Well, there's definitely some good players that came before me and even that were in my class and the class above me. We lost to Brighton, a high school that my girlfriend actually went to. But we lost to them.
I lost
We didn't-
game.
we
We
didn't-
took their chicks.
We didn't know each other.
Rivals.
We didn't know each other then, but we
And your
lost.
brother was on your team.
Yep, that was unreal for me, like being able to play with him.
That's sick.
But and he was a good player too. He just a lot of guys in high school, like my brother, my really good buddy Brian Hubbard. He was like one of the faster guys I've seen skate, and he just wanted to go to college and pursue a career. Now he's in med school, and my brother's loving his job at Intersport. So like they chose the right path for them, but they could have played. There was good players. Some guys played college, and a couple guys have played pro out of there, but not a ton because
So people know
High
you
school.
like, oh, that's happy 63 points in 29 games.
No, you got my stats there.
Yeah.
Uh,
63 points in 29
I love
games.
that. Maybe.
No.
I mean, maybe yeah, locally,
Yeah.
but there's so much good hockey, AAA, where it's
Yeah.
not like I was some
I
sort
hear
of
you.
legend. So
I hear it. But do you have like one of those jackets? High school.
yeah, you get a varsity jacket.
Varsity
Nice.
He has 5 patches on there, guys.
That's
He's got
nice.
football, baseball, basketball, lacrosse.
No, in high school, I just narrowed it down to hockey and lacrosse. I didn't hit puberty till sophomore year of high school. So maybe if I did earlier, I would have tried to play football, but I think I would have got smoked out there.
And what about you, Tommy? I mean, Tommy. Tommy. What about you? Like, you took the AAA route. I mean, you were a CompuWare guy for a while, 13U to 16U. You showed loyalty. I mean, I know a lot of guys in Michigan, they go Honey Bake, Caesars, Honda. You know, they play for every single one. But you
Oh,
were
I kind of did that
CompuWare.
too. So
Yeah,
as soon as I could play
and then you
AAA,
left and you went to Victory Honda. So
yeah, as
So-
soon as I could play AAA, I could. So it was like Squirt, whatever it is. Played 2 years at Caesars. Played 1 year at Honey Baked.
oh, so you
And
are
then-
that guy.
And then I after that year at Honey Baked, I jumped up a year and played. I'm a 99. I jumped up to the 98s. Played 3 years at CompuWare, and then I was playing U18 as a 15-year-old for Honda.
Millsy,
So, dude, we would have played against you. I would have played against you. then.
Probably, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, a
For
long
sure.
time ago. Yeah.
I'm
Mills,
trying to
why
think
do you-
of some guys. What's up?
no, say what you're
I'm
gonna
trying to
say.
think some of the guys on my team that you would have known.
Well, I know Sean Day played a year up, right?
Yeah, he was like Honey Baked and CompuWare most of his
Yeah.
time. So I think I played with him. He's working out at our gym.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you gonna ask?
I was gonna ask, why do you think players in Michigan do that? Play one team, like 1 year Little Caesars,
They
1
just
year
go.
Honey
They want to
Baked?
go to the best team.
Is
Yeah,
the,
it's just-
so what is it like?
Yeah.
The parents
It's a
all
mixed bag of
coordinate?
everything. Like for me, it was I was the youngest of 4 playing hockey, and my 2 siblings played high school. So my parents, like when I moved to Honey Baked out of Caesars, that was strictly because my sister was playing Honey Baked at the same rink. So it was like I would practice and then she would practice. And then a lot of it's just like you don't have the same coach going all the way through. So you'll switch teams whenever you get to a certain age because maybe you don't like that coach, or your buddies are going to play over there, or there's just politics in it, whether that's parents don't like each other.
Politics
The
and
P word.
hockey, no.
Or,
The P word
like
early.
players are getting like Michigan, like you'll get like players are paying half the price to play if they come here because some other parents are paying more.
Yeah.
Just because
Stuff
the
like
kid's
that.
good. They want
Yeah.
the team to win.
It's like negotiation. It's literally like pro hockey.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. Those
Mhm.
AAA coaches in Michigan probably make a good buck.
Yeah.
Probably. But
It's
what was that year like for you, like jumping ahead 15, 16? I mean, I saw this and I was like, I gotta ask about this year because I've played for 4 or 5 teams in a year. That's no problem. You go look at my EP, that's easy
Mhm.
work. But to see it on another guy's EP usually like surprises me. But you were like Victory Honda, Fargo Force, and NTDP in the same
Mhm.
year. You also played USA U17, like kind of the same thing as NTDP. But
Mhm.
you just talk about that season and like what happened there. Like
yeah.
what
So
start and where'd you finish?
going in, well, I was invited to 40 camp. You know, that whole year was talking with USA, thinking I was going to be on the team, blah, blah, blah. Things got dragged on, ended up not being on the team. But they were like, we would love to have you practice because I live 20 minutes away. So I would go to class. I think I had online classes. So I did like 2 or 4 in-person classes and I did 2 online classes. So I left early. I left at lunch and I would just go to the rink. So it'd be like Monday and Wednesday, I would skate with USA. Tuesday and Thursday, I'd skate with Honda. And then if Honda didn't have games on the weekend or showcase, I'd play games for USA.
Do they still do this to kids? You're on 2
I don't know,
teams.
but it just worked out because I lived closer. This was during the transition from Ann Arbor to Plymouth. So we were skating at Plymouth, but all the billets were still in Ann Arbor. So they were still going to Pioneer Ann Arbor school. So they drove, I don't know, 30, 35 minutes. And I was driving 20 minutes right down one road, Beck Road. My high school was on Beck Road and the rink's on Beck Road. So I remember I had, I would call, like, I would text the guy, actually, Greg Moore. I would text him. He was our coach, the intern coach when I was there. So I'd be like, hey, Moorzy, like, I'd text him, like, hey, like, I can't come in today. Like, I'm bagged. And he's like, oh, well, he said something back. And I was like, sorry, I just played like 12 games in 10 days or something like that. Like, I need a break. He's like, okay, don't come in for the rest of the week.
Wow.
And I went on like some showcases with them. And it kind of got pretty bad. I guess there was some beef between some of the Victory Honda like higher ups. Because I was missing like some games and stuff like that with
Yeah.
Honda. So
That's
it just
easy to put. That's like pro. That's like they're just treating you like a pro. Like, hey, you're
yeah, and then I was in Fargo for 2 weeks during that time frame in February. I think after all was said and done, I played like 110, 115 games that year. We went to nationals, we won states with Victory Honda. I had like a bum shoulder, like in the state finals, like got wrecked, like AC sprain. And after we lost nationals, I was in San Jose. Me and my dad are in Yosemite, and the like USA's calling me up, like, we want you to play. And I'm like, man, I'm on vacation right now. I got a bum shoulder. Like, season's done.
Wow,
And
Millsy.
got
So
checked
you
out,
never
and they're
knew when
like,
they were
yeah, you
calling you
can't
up,
play.
though?
Can't play.
You never knew when they were calling you up, Mills? Like it was just day to
It
day.
would just be like they kind of almost just like expected it at a certain point, just because I was like close, and
Yeah.
then after that, like I did all of spring training, which is a bag, and then they were going through new coaching, and towards the end of spring training, they were like, we want to have you on the team full time. So then U18's year, I was on the team full time, lived at home, did the same thing, 4 classes in person, left after lunch, drove to USA Arena.
That's great. I mean, 110, 115 games that season, that's what it's going to take in your career now if you want to accomplish goals, So
Mm-hmm.
if you could just be a kid in a body again, like
That,
hey,
Oh shit.
that's actually
Never
insane.
won.
never.
That's the craziest thing ever. But like APAP, your first year of junior was different.
Yep,
Mhm.
leaving
No.
Michigan. How did you discover
null
the
south,
null?
baby.
The null
From Michigan.
was John LaFontaine your coach?
Yeah. So I actually
Oh.
in high school, like I mean, I wanted to play hockey, but nothing was really clicking. And honestly, I didn't know like a ton about juniors, even though I'm from Michigan and guys like play junior hockey. I was just kind of like, if you're from high school where I was at, some guys play college, but most guys are just going to college.
Yeah.
So
U of D to college.
I applied to like six. Yeah, when I was at U of D, I applied to like 6 schools, just thinking about going to school.
Wow.
And then my senior year, I got drafted in the Null with John LaFontaine. He was an awesome coach.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, screw it, let's give it a shot. So I went down there, and then I had a good year. It was fun playing there, and like my mom it was tough for her for me to go all the way to Texas.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy, but I ended up loving it, and I ended up committing that summer to Michigan State.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's actually unreal. So like John LaFontaine, when I played for him, I was at Shattuck and I was a Bantam.
Oh yeah.
So there was all the music in the locker room had to be clean.
Yep.
Right. So like
He's
we had
very
to get the
religious.
clean version of every thing, and before every game prayer. And I remember like my first game prayer.
Mhm.
I'm Jewish, so like I was like, well, like I don't know if I can get on a knee, like is this cool? Like, like I felt like I didn't know anything about religion. I still like I'm not like one of those guys, but everyone goes down to pray and like I'm not, and like he just looks at me and goes like, Nico, like, why aren't you? And I'm like, I'm Jewish. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
And like he was just a great guy, and like he was great to me. Actually, he's the one that like broke the news to me when my grandpa passed.
Oh,
And
wow.
he like broke the news to me and like gave me a big hug, and like I'll always remember that guy. He was one of the nicest, like most straightforward coaches, and like he's the kind of guy like you'll just see him and he's picking up trash like randomly.
He's just
one of those guys.
He's a good human being.
Yeah, just a good human being.
You have a great year at Wichita and you commit
to Michigan State out of all places. But like this is a question for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Why Michigan State? Like why not University of Michigan? You know,
Oh,
why?
yeah.
do you think
Why
it's
not Ferris State?
Never-
Shout out Ferris State.
Shout out
Yeah.
Ferris.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of colleges in Michigan, but like like I was saying, I applied to schools and I was gonna just go to Michigan State for
Oh,
school.
really?
My dad went there, a ton of my aunts and uncles, cousins went there, and I just grew up loving Michigan State. Like we'd go to football games and hockey games there, and it was about a little less than an hour and a half from home. And yeah,
You're gonna have to
and-
stand up in a little.
yeah, so Michigan State tattoo. And but anyway, so I like that was my dream. And at first they actually during the season they offered me a walk on, and my agent was like, you know what, don't take it. I know you really want to go there, but try to get some more interest and like
Yeah.
leverage it. So then I did. A couple other colleges were calling, and not like a lot, but a couple.
Yeah, enough.
Enough where they're like, all right, we'll give you a 3 for 4. So then scholarship. So then
Yeah,
I
great,
took that
great.
and that was it. I always wanted to go there. Like, for example, my dad, he kind of brainwashed us to be Michigan State fans. And my cousin, she was our oldest cousin on his side, and she announced to everyone, I'm going to Michigan just like for school, but I just got into Michigan, and obviously Michigan's a very, very good academic
Yeah.
school to get into. It's tough to get into. And I was young, and I looked at my dad and I was like, why would she do that? Did she not get into Michigan State? He loved telling that story. And obviously like that's she could have got to Michigan State.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But
Why would she do that? then?
Yeah.
so for me, it was a dream come true going to Michigan State.
Yeah.
What about you?
Kind of the same thing. I had decent amount of offers as I was crazy young. I think spring of sophomore year is when I committed. Going through was mainly looking at the Big Ten, but was looking at Michigan too. And down to the last wire, just like my family went there, my dad, my mom went there, grew up being a Michigan State fan. Schooling seemed to fit. It's a 50-minute drive from home. Had a lot of opportunity there, thought I'd play a lot. So just seemed to be the place that I wanted to go.
Yeah. So both of these guys bleed green.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
What you did,
That's
Mills,
facts.
you logged some minutes. Millsy was
Yeah.
logging minutes in college.
Oh, I believe it. I
Yeah.
believe it. I mean, you two, I know a couple other guys that played at State, Louis and Cordorenko. Like, I'm surprised you guys aren't fucking Big Ten champs, Natty champs. You guys are beauties too.
Yeah, we did have a lot of talent, but
What do you think?
we had like a little Christmas curse. Like I
Christmas
remember-
curse.
Oh,
The
yeah.
CC, the
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
curse.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
second half of the
Christmas
year.
hangover, I'd say.
Yeah, we struggled second half of the year. We had a couple of years we had really good starts and we were right there in the hunt. Even one year, I remember the Big Ten was real tight. Was this maybe our junior year, Mills?
Dude, it was junior year, maybe sophomore year. Was Taro there?
Maybe Taro Hiroshi.
Mhm.
He was a stud, but we had 6 games left and we were right in the hunt. Like I think
Dude, it was like
5
first to
seconds.
sixth place was like 4 points, 3 points, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And we
Like one weekend is a difference, and we ended up losing the last 6 games.
6 in a row.
Where were those 6? On the road? Tough
I
places?
don't
Or
remember.
did you
I
guys
don't
just
remember.
choke it off?
I think probably 2 on or 4 on the road and 2 at home. I
Oh.
think it was. But
We-
the Big Ten, man, was a grind.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Hmm.
some really good teams. Penn State was always good. Minnesota was good.
A split was a positive. Like a split's a great weekend.
A split on the
Yeah,
road is
split
a
on the road
win.
is a
Big,
win.
big.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you both end up being captains
Mm-hmm.
at
Before
Michigan.
before we even get there, I just want to I texted a couple guys. I texted Louis and I texted Dennis Sasana.
Hmm.
Both
Yeah.
played with him.
Oh yeah.
So like they sent me like a lot of stuff. I mean, pretty long stuff.
Oh god.
But like Louis wanted me to bring up just your freshman year, or we were all freshmen together, dorms life, same apartments, just living together in houses, really tight group.
Yeah.
He said you both play golf. He said Miller is better than Paps. He said both great captains, just such good dudes, great leaders. Sasana asked me to bring up the Sandlot. Maybe you guys talk a little bit about the Sandlot.
Yeah.
And then And then one more story is apparently Miller had the nastiest goal versus Notre Dame in overtime, toe drag, walked the defenseman, scored. I'll send you the highlight. He never sent it to me, but
You can find that.
I'm finding the highlight right now.
but yeah, can you guys just talk about like your freshman year, tight group? I know you guys were tight. I remember seeing snaps from like Louis and Dennis, and you guys were always hanging out together. I just didn't know you guys at the time, but can you guys just talk about that freshman year going into Michigan State, your guys' dream school?
Yeah,
You
go
go
first,
first.
Mills.
Yeah, so we had a class of 8 guys, perfect number for dorms, 2 guys per dorm, 4 dorm rooms in the summer. And then, so we were there on campus, July 5th, July 6th, just freshmen, maybe some older guys. So I guess that's when everything started. We all had mopeds, so we would roll 8 deep everywhere we went. You know,
Moped gang.
8 deep. If we're going to the rink, 8 deep. If we're going to a movie, 8 deep on the moped. Like you got some guys on the back of the moped, bro petting.
Bro petting.
And then, well, so I guess like we had 8 guys. Like Paps, how old were you? 21-year-old freshman.
I
We
went
had
in
a
at
couple ago,
21,
like
yeah.
20-year-old freshman, 19-year-old freshman. I was there as a true. Louis and Keith were there, which were 98s, and then the rest were like older. So I was like the young buck, just being trailed around by
Yeah.
everyone. And then going into the year, we had like 2 suites, which held 4 guys. We shared a bathroom. There's like 2 guys in a room, and then you share a bathroom. And Paps can talk about the super suite, the mega suite a little bit.
Yeah. So like Mill said, you'd have a bathroom and then you'd have your 2 suites. So 2 guys in each room. And we were like, man, let's do something cool here. So it was kind of a pain in the ass to get this accomplished, but it was me and my roommate was Brody Stevens, and then David Kiefer and Louie were in the other room. So the 4 of us shared a bathroom. And then the other 4 guys were just right down the hall. But we put our 4 beds in one room and did double bunk beds, and then made the other room just like kind of like a suite, like a hangout room. Put a couple TVs in there. We had a couple sofas.
That's great.
We had a couple dorm parties in there, which was kind of fun. Like our RA at the time.
Oh yeah, the RA.
He was a beauty.
Chan, what was his name? Was this Chan when we did that?
I don't remember his name. No, we had 2. Yeah, one each semester.
There's 2, yeah.
We had 2.
Well, we had like 30 people in this freaking dorm room.
It was
And
crazy.
the RA's knocking on the door and Paps offers them tickets to the Michigan game.
Yeah, that's the first thing you do as a freshman.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like,
you
I'll
come to the
get you
game,
to
I'll
the
leave
Michigan
you
game.
tickets.
Like, just let us get
Yeah, we did. So we were doing stuff like that all the time, and we had a blast. Like really tight group. And
Well, it was nice because with that, like, I don't know, let's say I get back from class and I have lunch, like my roommate would sleep in or whatever. Like, I would just go, that room was always open. So I would just go turn on the TV and just wait for the guys to get back. And then we'd go to the rink
Yeah.
together to practice. Like, I'd walk in and like Paps or Brody would just be like, oh, what's up, Mills? And I'd be sitting there eating Jimmy John's. Like,
yeah, Mills was in our room. It was kind of everyone's room, that hangout room. So
oh, it was a
we had a
freaking mess,
blast.
man.
Talking about
was
it's making me
disgusting.
miss it a little bit.
Yeah,
A
it
lot,
does.
actually.
He's had his like wall of freaking spitters just open. He never closed them, and he used like that much of them. So there'd just be 20 spitters on the windowsill.
Yeah, we had some gamers. Yeah, he was one of the gamers, and one time spilled a spitter all over his Xbox, and it was chaos after that.
Oh no.
And I had my Xbox, and I wasn't a big gamer, but we just like I could stream stuff off of it and all that. But Brody Stevens just took over my Xbox, and it was his for the year.
Yeah.
He played every day.
No, what a group.
We watched Game of Thrones as a class that year too.
Yeah, that
The
was
whole
great.
all the way through.
Got into Thrones.
Wow. How sick is that? Like not only being from Michigan and going to your dream school, Michigan State, but I feel like you guys on that Michigan State team had a ton of Michigan guys, no?
Mhm.
We might have had in our class. Thanks. In our class, we might have had Smitty's from Buffalo. That's it. Our whole class is from
Yeah,
Michigan.
that's the only person from out of state.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I
Yes.
think they do that on purpose, recruiting.
I think they do. Like now, there's new staff there, and they're trying to expand their recruiting. And I think Michigan State's going to be I mean, hopefully a powerhouse.
I
again,
mean,
back
Mm.
in, like,
Michigan State needs more Florida boys. Fuck.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know about
Oh,
that.
no, it is.
I still never played NCAA. I don't know how it works with eligibility now.
He's like, that's the only league I haven't touched yet.
You
Like,
might
come
be,
on.
Yeah.
you might be eligible these days. I don't even know.
I'm 6 years out from major junior. Like, is it not?
It's got to be over now,
I
right?
think, yeah, I think you're eligible. Your clock's running up.
Yeah.
My,
Shot clock has expired.
dude, yeah, my clock actually. Speaking of that, my clock started in junior, so I turned 21.
Yeah,
last
so you have to
year's
start taking
juniors.
classes.
Yeah, so I had to start taking classes. Like I went to Youngstown State. I had 3 or 4
YSU.
classes. YSU baby.
Oh my god.
Represent-
That's so
Only
funny.
time I finished a semester with honors.
Wow.
Youngstown State. Yeah.
So
Didn't happen in school.
And that's great.
Yeah.
And then so you played 4 years, right? You were captain your final year. And you played 5 years, but you actually transferred your final year to Northeastern.
dog.
Before we get to
Dog.
Northeastern, we got to talk about these two being captains together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You were a 3-year captain. Hold on. Let me get this straight. You were captain, right? Sophomore year?
assistant
Assistant,
captain.
yeah.
Yeah, assistant captain.
Yeah.
So a captain. That does not happen. That is rare. That is rare.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
You were a captain at U of D early in your career. You were the captain at University of Detroit Jesuit, and so it's been in your upbringing. You've always been a leader naturally, and I know you personally. So
And
how
he made the
how do you
the
feel-
party room.
Yeah, and you made the party room.
So-
So automatic blue guy.
That was our whole class doing that one.
Yeah, you're the 21-year-old freshman, so everybody's like, "Is Paps cool with it?" Because we had a
Yeah.
21 freshman. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
Why do you feel you felt? Why do you think you got an assistant captain your sophomore year? Team
After
vote
2
on
goals,
it?
2 assists.
Yeah, after 2 goals, 2 assists. Team vote on it.
Yeah, I think
Best beer pong player. What do you think?
part of it was honestly, I mean, I was old, so like
Mhm.
that definitely has some play in it. Like not necessarily experience. I'm in the same class as these guys and everything, but maybe just being older, maybe that's why it got voted on. But growing up, yeah, definitely, because I wasn't always the best player, especially in college. Like just kind of a hard work. I thought I had a good work ethic, and I always tried to put others before myself. So
Mhm.
maybe that was part of it, but the age thing and then the hard work, because I try to when in that role on a team, then I want to lead by example. Like I'm vocal in the locker room. I'm chatting with the boys and same with Mills, but we both like to lead by example and just always every drill you're giving it your effort. Summer skates you're giving your A+ efforts. In the weight room you're always trying to improve yourself and push other guys around you. So I think that's and I think that's a big thing too, is pushing other guys around you and competing. And I think both of us just always competed our asses off.
Yeah, that's very well said. Millsy, what was your reaction? I'm sure you could speak for you and your classmates when you saw him get a letter sophomore year. I mean, were you guys expecting Paps to get a letter during your freshman year, or were you guys
I
like,
honestly don't remember my specific reaction, but like no doubt in what he did, like on and off the ice, in the locker room, at the dorms, like just a great person and a guy that would, be like, "Hey Mills, you want to go do this, like this extra sprint or whatever it is, like always pushing you or putting more weight on, like whatever it is." Just kind of always involving everyone on the team, kind of considering everyone, and pushing everyone to be better. I think he was also a guy that, he didn't have the most amount of points, but he was a guy that you could throw on the ice, win a face off, be reliable, block a shot, put on the PK, like just a steady Eddie. And I think that carries on the ice and off the ice.
Absolutely,
Eddie.
absolutely.
And I actually, I wanted to ask this to an NCAA guest. I could have asked Z my whole life, but like for you guys, I played major junior, and it's not like this. But I'm wondering with the bond that you guys create. So you guys as captain, right? If you guys have a guy on the team that's like everyone sees as kind of not dialed in, is that on you? Like, do you guys meet up and are like, "Hey, this guy's not dialed. Like, we got to have a sit down with him," Or is it more like you guys don't do those individual meetings type thing?
So there was a couple guys like I personally pulled over to the side. I was never like someone call out guys in front of the room just because I think you're at that level. We're all at this college level. You got here for a reason. You're playing college hockey. You're a Division I player. You're good enough to be here. But in my mind, I was like, if I'm gonna be a good leader, you hear guys say this, like a lot of professional captains or whatever, just leaders in general. They'll say you can't ask someone to do something you're never gonna do. So, and not that I wouldn't mind getting called out in front of other guys, but I think you have to know who you're talking to. If there's a guy that's kind of going off the rails, maybe yelling at the refs a lot, or even just on the bench slamming his stick, you pull him over aside. That was just the way I would do it. That's the way I operated. But
And you guys got like good results from that?
yeah, usually guys pull it in, but also like at the same time, there's some individuals that just kind of go their own way. I mean, the
Yeah.
older you get, I think that happens even more. And
Yeah.
not that it's an ego thing, but sometimes just controlling your emotions and
I
controlling.
think to add on to that, um, with college compared to pro hockey, you have a lot more time to kind of build a relationship and care for the person.
Mhm.
Right.
So I think it's easier in that sense, where we were a close class, but we were also a super close team. Like everyone enjoyed being around
Yeah.
everyone. And there was guys that, no one was really close to on the team for whatever reason, if they didn't think they fit in or whatever, but you still tried to reach out, invite them and talk to them. Like it's kind of just trying to be personable and like say, hey, I care about you, I care about the team. Maybe you can do this, or what were you thinking? Kind of just like get to know and have good dialogue with the player.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
And just going from there into pro, I mean,
Wait.
oh,
You skipped the most important year. The year they're both
Oh, yeah.
captains together.
oh,
They both wore the C together.
I just had that question about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's totally cool. That's totally cool. So, what was it like being captains together? Was it a vote? How does the team do two C's? I've never played on a team that does two C's.
Yeah.
Well, we did.
How did it?
Tommy got the C, APAP, and they just wrote Tommy gets the C.
No.
So,
Which Tommy? Yeah,
then-
the votes were all Tommy, but which Tommy?
So Tommy Miller was like, I got the C.
Yeah.
APAP was like, I got the C. Coach was like, you both get the C.
Yeah, both get the
Dude.
I think. Well, I mean, were you about to say something there, Mills?
Well, so like I didn't have an A or anything.
No,
I went straight into being a C. I was honestly kind of surprised.
I need
'cause
one of
didn't
those
think-
bounces. I need one of those bounces.
Yeah. I didn't
Nothing
think
to
that
C.
I didn't think that we were gonna, have two C's. Did we have two C's before that?
Yeah.
Like early on. It was like we had a new coach freshman year.
Yeah.
With the full new team. So I think we had two C's after that year. I don't remember.
That's kind of how he operated. Yeah, our junior year, Sam Saliba was a captain as well.
Yeah.
And so there was a couple C's that year. And then I couldn't tell you the year before. I think it was just Sam. But
Mhm.
so
I think so
kind of
too.
just continue that trend of two captains, and it works
Oh,
well.
was it Sandy in Sleeves?
Yeah, or Carson Gadd our freshman year.
That was freshman year.
But he didn't even have a C. We just had 3 A's. We didn't have a C our
Oh,
freshman year. New staff, and I think
Yeah.
but I think it worked out well with me and Mills. I mean, I guess you'd have to ask the other guys. We did a good job. But really, like, we did have a bunch of leaders even without us, so it made it easier. It wasn't like
Mhm.
we had to call guys out all the time. Like, it wasn't that type of environment. Like, guys, I mean, obviously we wish we had more wins. We wish we strung together, especially a good end of the year, a few more times. But guys were coming to work, and we had our fun, and we had a good time in college, and we were really tight. Class above us, we were really tight with them. They had a good group.
Yep.
But and class below us too, there's some really good guys. But I'd say, yeah, you might have to ask the other guys if it
For
worked out.
me,
But we
it
had,
was nice
we had
because
good
I
times.
never met with the refs before during warm ups. Paps always dealt with that stuff. We rotated the speeches before in the huddle. Like
Yeah,
it was pretty
Okay.
smooth sailing. Like
yeah,
I mean, the coaching staff was a little so we kind of like dealt with that with being the medium between the team and the coaches and just relaying messages without trying to step on toes or
yeah.
frustrate whoever. So
That's
that
a
was cool, but
Yeah, that's kind of a difficult part. I mean, everyone's been on a team where like the coach is set in his ways, so you kind of have to operate around that, like Millsy was saying, and get guys on the same page. But
That probably happens more often than it doesn't happen.
yeah, yeah,
mhm.
Right.
like
Absolutely.
players just see a different game or a different team aspect even
Yeah.
than the coach does. But
Right.
that's just kind of how it worked.
Did you two have any disagreements that you guys can remember? Any like they're bringing in new Gitch and you're like, I want the green. You're like, no, we got to keep it white, Mills. These are fresh. Any disagreements you two had as captains?
Do you think Mills? I can't remember anything
I
specific.
don't remember many disagreements between the two of us.
Yeah,
Wow.
Well, it makes sense because I mean I've basically lived with both of you. When I played in Milwaukee, Paps lived right below me, the floor below me, and then when I played in Toronto last year, I was roommates with Mills on the road and in Newfoundland. Mills and I were roommates, so I see both of you and I'm like, wow, yeah, perfect fit. Of course, they're both captains together. Of course, they're best friends, and of course, they're both better than me at golf.
I ain't better than you at golf.
We're there. We're close.
We're pretty close. Mills
I
is
like
better.
playing with you because I'm
Yeah,
like, if I shank one, I'm like, I know he's due for one at least the
Yeah.
next 7 holes.
We're doing a little team scramble, and you and I are in the same squad.
Yeah.
But I think Mills and I, we saw eye to eye, and like I said, like our class was full of leaders, so that ended up being it made our job easier when.
And yeah, like we had guys that weren't assigned a captain or assistant captain that would yell at guys. So we didn't really have to do that, and I don't think that's in our personalities.
Mhm.
Maybe like after a game, if we just got shit pumped, then you need to dig in. But
Yeah,
mainly it was just like us kind of trying to direct and lead by how we play and how we carry ourselves. If problems arise, just kind of try to react to them. And there wasn't really any disagreements. I guess with the team, it was kind of like team, like we tried to direct the team, lead them through, I guess, with some of the coaching, just try to stay all on the same page,
Yeah.
Yeah.
stay together. I know you
Um,
talked about that a little bit in Florida, Z, just like
Yeah.
going against the team. I think that's kind of what we had there too, where the team's kind of uniting against the coach.
Yeah. Rallying around what's going
Yeah.
on. And everybody's consciously aware of what's going on in the situation. So, I mean, that's good. Because then if you're not a leader, the only guy you have to look up to is your leader, because
Mhm.
you're like, all my brothers are going this direction. I'm going the same way.
Mhm.
Wait, real quick. So I asked Z, I was reading your EP yesterday night. I'm prepping for this pod, we prep obviously. And I'm prepping
guys
for
do
this
your homework.
I'm prepping for this pod and I say, Z, Captain Michigan State, Michigan guy. Why would he transfer to Northeastern? And Zach, being a Northeastern alumni, looks at me and just goes, easy, he wants to win.
Yeah,
Like, why else would he go to Northeastern?
It's true, we did win.
They did.
But I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why. Like
He's in first place.
oh yeah,
Hockey.
it was a big diff. I guess like with the COVID year, I figured that I had 1 year kind of just to get a different experience through and through, whether it's hockey, school, location. So what's better than Boston comparing to the farmlands of middle Michigan, like I enjoyed my time. I loved it, like loved being in the city, loved Boston, fell in love with it there. And on top of that, we ended up winning Hockey East regular season, played in a lot of big games, played in the Beanpot Championship. A lot of big moments. The team was great. Like love the guys on the team. So it was just a good fit, which I kind of just took a gamble on. And it ended up working out.
And they gave Millsy, an assistant captain, a letter halfway through the year, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was maybe halfway through early
Maybe
on. I
even
think
early, maybe early. It was early.
I think
I'm
they
like, who is
knew.
this transfer? Why'd they give him a letter? Who is this guy?
Yeah, well, just like everyone always came, oh, captain of Michigan State, blah blah blah. And then I guess that they saw and they were like, yeah, no, like you deserve it. Like you need to have this. I think one of the captains was out for injury or whatever, and they're like, oh well, we need to fit this. So
Mhm.
head coach came up to me after one of the practices and was like, hey, we're gonna give you the A. You might be rotating with some other guy, but you're gonna be wearing it most of the time. I think I ended up just like fizzling out to like full time,
Yeah,
but
that was your A.
Were,
I
were guys talking shit about the captain they had the year before? Or?
I heard Z's a freaking maniac. Who's this guy yelling at guys? Can't even handle himself.
So how they were talking about how they're like, oh, it's not our personality. We're not like the guys call out guys. If you didn't fucking dial it in, I did not like that. It was crystal clear. Like to rewind, my freshman year, I was the guy that the captains had to pull aside and say, hey, Solo, you got to dial it in, man. This is the third weekend in a row. You're messing around. You're getting in trouble. Like, you're not here to party. Like, you're here to play hockey. And they pulled me aside, Dylan Sakura, Nolan Stevens, and they had to do it multiple times. they did. I just was so oblivious. It's just such an easy trap to fall into.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, they were like, man, like you're actually good at hockey. If you try to play hockey, you could probably play. And then I remember we were actually in the dorm room. It's like 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. And they were like hitting me with this. I literally set my drink down and left, started waking up at 5 a.m. next week. And then I dialed in for sophomore, junior year because I was off the rails. Senior year, I was captain. It was the COVID year. So like they couldn't get together, no parties, no anything, especially in the city.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, boys, we can't get COVID. We're not going out and partying. We're going to dial in. We're going to have a great season. Nobody parties. Nobody gets COVID. They still postpone our season. We threw the biggest party when they did that.
Yeah.
We were so upset. They
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. But
That's great.
yeah, I was definitely a maniac.
But okay, so past college now. So while you were doing your 5th year, Paps went pro, but you actually finished after your senior year. You finished the year in Indy.
Yep.
In the ECHL.
Mm-hmm.
10 points, 23 games. Actually, really good. I had one more point than you this year. But
4 years ago.
fuck, I just had to. But
You snuck that in.
can you just talk about like the experience of getting a couple pro games under your belt
Yeah.
after senior year?
Yeah, it ended up honestly being great going to Indy. I wanted to keep playing for sure. I didn't know where I'd be and whatnot, but
Did you contemplate the 5th year or no?
no, our coach at Michigan State asked me, he pulled me in his room and he's like, do you want to come back for a 5th year? We want to have you. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to go sign in Indy in the coast. And he was kind of rattled. He didn't like that because he's like, you're going to go to the coast. Like, you might as well play another year, try to get your master's, which, I mean, it's smart to get your master's, obviously.
Yeah, but you got to go to school for it.
But yeah, you got to go back to school. And I was like, man, I'm 25 years old. Like, I haven't played on the power play here ever. Like, it's not like you're going to put me on the power play now. Like, what? It's not like there's new opportunity. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't the right choice for me. So I think I made the right choice. And at 25 years old, I was like, I got to be done with this.
Yeah.
So I went to Indy and then I started there again the next year before I got called up to Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then like when you're in Indy, because like you got a coast deal. I mean,
Well, it was different though that year. That the coast was really good that year.
It was
oh,
really
it's
good.
COVID year. Yeah.
Nobody could get contracts, so why
That's
was
actually true. That's
Yeah.
actually
that was a really good league. That
So
year.
were you
Really good, yeah.
told that? Like were you told by your agent, like, yeah, like you're signing in the coast, but it's the COVID year, there's not a lot of teams, like next year there'll be way more opportunity in the American League?
Yeah, he was kind of saying that. I mean, he wasn't telling me like I'm gonna go play in the AHL. He didn't say that or anything because you don't want to get your hopes up, and then, but he's like, give it a shot, and we'll see if someone notices you, and then hopefully you can get called up from there. But at that time, there was a lot of good players in Indy and a lot of good players in the East Coast.
I played one
And-
game that year, so yeah, I was one of those good.
Yeah,
good
you were one of those
players.
guys.
Yeah, one of those really good players was me.
Yeah, it was great. I liked my coach, and the boys were great. You all lived together, and it ended up being cool. Some of my buddies from Michigan State came down to visit, and
How
Yeah.
far was that drive? Indy to Michigan State, not too far.
3.5.
yeah, maybe 4.5.
4.5, I think 5 maybe.
Were you one of those guys? Oh no, you weren't
He
there.
was playing.
No, playing.
He
Yeah,
was in Boston.
he was going to Boston.
Yeah, he was in the beat
Well,
pot that time
yeah,
of year, actually.
That next year, yeah, when I started off in Indy, he was in Boston.
But
And
yeah, and then
So
that
that
set
was
you up for
great.
next year.
that set me up for next year, and I was like, again, like I didn't know, I wanted to keep playing, but I didn't know what opportunity was out there. So then, yeah, nothing in the A. So I went back to Indy, and then I got called up to Milwaukee in December, middle of December.
Yeah, and then you played 35 games in Milwaukee, and then this season you were back in Milwaukee. And this is a question for you, and I'm gonna ask the same question to you right after. So I don't have to ask it twice. You just answer after. So, how was playing with Z?
I was like, what the fuck?
Man, Z, to me, Z is like one. Honestly, I'm not just saying this because he's sitting right next to me, but he's one of the hardest working guys, and he does have a hell of an attitude. Like I wasn't here at the beginning of the year in Milwaukee when he was here, but I know he wasn't getting the opportunity he deserved. But he kept coming to work every day, and he kept having a really good attitude. And I think that rubs off on guys. And I know there's a guy that we played with at Michigan State like that, Anthony Scarcella. He never really got an opportunity, and he didn't complain. He came to work every day, and he ended up getting his degree. And he never cracked the lineup, but you remember guys who have good attitudes who are kind of getting the short end of the stick, and those kind of teammates, they rub off on you and kind of inspire you. So yes, he's one of those guys.
I appreciate those kind
Yeah.
words. Real quick,
Yeah.
Paps is the first teammate I've ever had that held Collins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
First
He
teammate
is
that
my
I had
fellow
that
guys,
held
though.
Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
He held him
DG.
before Mark.
Did I?
Damn.
I was the first. I
His
was
first-
Good for you.
First teammate to hold
I
Collins.
like that. I like that. That's a nice
Yeah.
little stat.
That's
That's what
good
I'm
stat.
throwing in my bio.
Very good.
What about you?
I guess the same thing, kind of like
He had
carries
an
that
impression.
presence.
He had an impression before you came with all my teammates before.
Yeah, well, so a lot of the impression was, who's the solo guy? Who's the solo guy? Like, a lot of it was, I can't believe he's having a kid. I can't believe he's having a kid. That was always
Yeah.
that's like what I kept to. That's like what I heard just exactly what, like, oh, Z wouldn't take, like, someone's wearing the wrong colored gitch or whatever, like a red
Yeah.
shirt when we're supposed to be wearing a black shirt. It's like, oh, Z would have none of that. He would
No.
be ripping you apart right now.
Oh
So I
yeah.
was like, this guy's a freaking maniac. I was like, this guy's psycho.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Exactly like Babs was saying, it was like the mindset, the attitude part, and that's contagious. Like for a guy like me who is, a guy that will do block shots, hit, whatever, kind of do the hard stuff that it takes to win. I'll come off the bench. He's all 8, good block, good block, good block. When like no one even saw it or whatever it is, like
Yeah.
just stuff like that. Or when he's
Didn't
on the
even
ice,
block a
he's-
shot, and he's like, "Good block, 8."
Yeah, hey, I'll take whatever I can get.
Okay.
That's
But carries like a lot of chat in the locker room, trying to lighten up the mood. You're down, he's cracking jokes.
I actually
On same
hate-
thing on the bench, on the ice, you can hear him. He's always talking.
Yeah, he's
Always.
loud.
you know what's
Yeah.
crazy is like this guy's never seen the movie Rudy, right? And when I think of Z, and I think of also like I know his mission and like my mission, like essentially to become the best person you can be, right? And you think of the movie Rudy and how like everyone rallies around Rudy because wait, you guys have both seen it, right?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't watched it in a long time. but
You've
yeah.
seen it,
I
right?
haven't seen it. I've seen it, yeah.
Okay. So like
I've
everyone
seen it.
everyone rallies around him because he's like a hard worker that just wants to be on the team and just wants to be one of the boys, and like they rally around. And I've talked about this before, like if you're one of those guys that just works his bag off and doesn't take anything for granted, maybe in the beginning, people will laugh at you a little bit because like you're working so hard and you're a guy that's out of the lineup type of thing. Like maybe some guys, you know, the guys that are too cool for that stuff will like laugh at you, but eventually everybody will respect the hardest worker in the room. Like everybody's going to respect the guy that you see he's getting less than he deserves and he's not saying a word about it and he's grinding. Like you can't do anything but respect that guy, right? So like that's the way I look at Z, and it's crazy because he never seen the movie Rudy, which is nuts. But
You're really rattled by that. That he hasn't seen
yeah,
that
he's
movie.
gotta watch it. He's gotta.
Oh, well, I will watch it, but I actually think that
But Rudy stinks at football. So you're actually a good hockey player.
okay, well, I appreciate that. But I actually think people forget that we play a kid's game for a living.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And when we get to show up to the rink from 7 in the morning to noon, why aren't we having the most fun that we can?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I see 25 guys that were literally kids chasing their dreams, and we get to show up to the rink every day and get better and go on this 9-month process and build relationships. And like, I just think it's so cool we get to get paid for that. So it's like, why not? I'm the fucking happiest guy in the world. Look at us. We get fucking paid to play hockey. This is the best sport in the world.
It is.
And so it's like, if you're going to complain, I think you just lose sight of what's really there.
Yeah.
You usually are got like 4 espressos in you by the time I'm up. So
Or espresso,
Yeah.
You're always just
maybe even
juiced.
stick. Maybe even stick straight
Clean
black.
shave.
Straight black though.
you already got a gloss going, and I'm just showing up to the rink and he's sipping
Yeah.
on his coffee.
I'm activated 2 meal
Mixed black espressos, and if you walk in with anything other than an espresso, you're getting chirped because it's got too
Yeah.
much sugar, it's got too much this, it's got too much that. What are you drinking there? Oh, a vanilla latte. Oh, that's brutal, dude. Brutal. Yeah, espresso.
Yeah.
I agree with you though, Z. I feel like it's hard to find a different job where you'd love, like you're with the guys all the time. You're playing.
It's actually a
kids
joke.
game.
It's a joke.
Mhm.
That's why.
We couldn't be more lucky to be playing this game.
You
And-
show up from 9 to 1, and that's your work day.
Yeah.
you're
You know what I
Most of
do
the
when I
days.
get? You know what I do when I get to my office? I get in the hot tub.
Yeah.
I let my back relax.
Yeah.
Then my second thing I do and when I get out of the bathtub in the office is I put my gitch on and I get a nice heat warmer on my back.
Yeah.
I'm at work. Think about this. I'm at work. Then I hop on the bike. I get a nice bike going, a good sweat in, which is what people would try to fit in between work, right? To stay.
Yeah.
I'm doing that as my work,
They're
right?
paying me for this right
Then
now.
I'm going on the ice. I'm playing hockey. This is all. I'm still at the office. Think
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
it's actually crazy.
And like we,
Mhm.
as hockey players, like guys are just always gonna complain. Like you have a tough travel day.
Oh,
You're gonna complain. Like we act like it's so hard, but really at the end of the day, it's the best life.
It's a joke. Like we had a so think about it like this. We had a 15-hour roadie against PHP rules. It's okay. 15-hour roadie. And
The reps gotta send that in.
and so we do this 15-hour roadie. All the guys are like, we're doing a 15-hour roadie. We're doing a 15-hour roadie. I go, boys, 15 hours of schnarps.
Yeah.
Let's go. Everybody, let's go. 15. We get on the bus 4 a.m. Everyone's like, no, Blatch, we're going to bed until 7 a.m. I'm like, no fucking way. We gotta play schnarps right now. We got 15 hours of schnarps. Let's go.
It's true, Paul. It's true.
It's
Yeah,
actually
play
the
quiet.
best, man.
Nice,
Like,
yeah.
but like
The
there's nothing
ECHL,
better.
ECHL, the ever complaining hockey league.
Yeah.
You don't play hockey if you don't complain.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just
Mhm.
It's like one of
Well,
those
it's
things.
all relative too. Like,
Right.
you know, at the Marlies we get treated well, we fly, but then we talk to Paps, he's like, oh, we just had a 14-hour bus ride. We're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing that?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine that?
Our last game of the year, we lost Coachella in the semis this year. And our flight gets canceled. We're sleeping at the airport, flying out at 6 a.m. And we were livid, but at the same time, you're like,
Of
man,
course,
like,
this happens.
yeah, of course this happens. But it's like, now we got summer and like, what is it? It's not like we're in a rush or anything. Like we're just
Mhm.
find a way to complain. But
Mhm.
it really is the best life.
Yes, it is. And I remember when you got called up, Paps,
Mm-hmm.
there had been guys in Milwaukee, there was some forward injuries, and the head coach didn't want to put me in the lineup. So he's calling guys up throughout the year. And he called up like 2 or 3 guys before Paps had come. And they were just guys that came and they didn't really say anything. They kind of just stayed in their stall. They were quiet. But when you got called up, you just like came to the rink, your head was up, you were like looking around, you wanted to make eye contact with people, you had a good attitude. I like heard the way you talked, and I'm like, this guy's a nice dude. He's genuinely nice.
But I'm gonna kill him in practice.
But I was like, fuck, I need to get in the lineup.
I'm running him from behind.
And so, but anyways, then I see him get on the ice and I see the way he works and I see the way he interacts with my other teammates. And I'm like, this guy's a great guy. And so immediately we were friends like right away, and we're competing for the same spot. But it's like at the end of the day, it's not his control. It's not my control. We could easily hate each other because we're playing for one spot, but it's like, why would we do that? We live together. We show up to the rink to get together every day, and we just turn that into best friends. And now we hang out, and he's training here in the summer, and he's willing to come on the podcast. He skates with us, and now we're fucking boys.
Yeah.
And
But that is a funny part of the game. Like, I appreciate that, by the way, but it is
True,
a funny
for sure.
part
I don't lie.
how you don't want to like a guy maybe if you're competing with him, but you and we're both forwards, we're competing for ice time, and we ended up being boys.
Yeah.
So that is kind of funny, but
Like,
that's just how it
It's
works
what
out.
you said though. It's being consciously aware that it's not in either of your controls. Like the
Mm-mm.
only thing that you guys can do is you have to work your hardest and you have to work your hardest, and then it's up to the coach.
we played together some games, and every time we played together, the puck was below the goal line.
Yeah, we were a good line together.
Nasty. And the
Yeah,
head
we played
coach was
well.
like, oh, I should have got you guys out there more last game.
Yeah.
Like, that's all. It's like we
well.
played 527, boss.
We were
You
solid.
could have you could have snuck us in, a couple more.
527. That's one of my highest games. 527. That's pretty good.
He's like waiting. He's like, I'm hoping a coach calls me, tells me he's gonna play me 527 Ignite this year. I'll go there.
527 is good minutes.
527 is not bad. I've had instats that were just one clip.
But honestly, Blatch, if you play 527, I guarantee if you play 527 for 72 games, you'll have 30 points.
Yes, I'd hope.
If you play five, you got to get to 527 though.
Yeah, I gotta get the
527, you get 30 points.
They gotta throw me. They gotta sit. Yeah.
Give him
Mills,
Kick him out there. Kick him out there.
what do you think your minutes were in college? What do you think your average was? Our freshman year, he played with Carson Gatt, who was a senior, and he's a good defenseman. And I think you guys are out there every other shift.
I was always probably hovering around
And we had
30, high 20s at least. There was one time when, like, one of the video in between periods, the video coach comes down. I'm like, going to the snack room, whatever. He's like, "Oh, like, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good." Like, so, "Oh, well, you played 12 minutes that period." I'm like, "Oh, really?"
yeah.
Like, yeah, like better recover or something like that. Like good to see you're feeling well. Like, and just went on with my business. Like, got some Gato gummies and some Gatorade, and I'm all good. It was like double shifting all the time. I was playing with like the senior captain, so he was babysitting me a little bit, but it was good. I mean, just go out there, do my job. That's about it.
Millsy, how many games did you play total in the coast this year with Newfoundland? Like beginning, and then you were gone for like 50 games up in the American
15
League.
in the coast, 40 in the American.
Then what?
How was your first year pro?
It was good. It's a positive year for sure. I think, being assigned to the Growlers was a little bit of not a dagger, but down.
Not where you want to be, yeah.
Yeah, right. I felt that with my play, through rookie tournament and camp, I felt that I deserved to be on the Marlies. So going sent down was a little bit of a shock, but kind of just tried to keep my nose down and work. And, I got my opportunity after 14 games, worked my way up the lineup, kind of solidified myself. And then things kind of just a long season combined with guys coming back, found myself back on the Growlers, which was a little bit disappointing too, but I actually can quote myself sitting in the hot tub in Newfoundland saying I want to win a championship here earlier in the season. So kind of had some unfinished business, and I'm the type of guy that I'll be wherever as long as the team's going towards something. I'll hop on the bandwagon with them. So I was fully bought in. to the Growlers playoffs. Z was up there too. He came down a couple games in, or right before the first game. And that was good. I think it was all like playoffs was a fun experience. It's just a different type of hockey.
Yeah.
Thursday, I'm like, holy cow, I don't know how I'm gonna play this one. I'm like sitting there, like getting warmed up. I'm like, my legs can't even feel them. Groins are shot, shoulders are shot. Could probably sleep for another 2 hours, but we gotta go play a game. And you like, I don't know. It's like it's fun. Everyone's kind of going balls to the wall.
Well,
Um,
Millsy, just to comment on your rookie camp and leading into you starting in the coast, you were an absolute fish out of water the first 15 games or 14 games you were there. I don't even know how many games it was. And like when you got called up, it was like, yeah, every guy on the team was like, yep, never see that guy again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're
Thank you for
just so
that. Thank you
dominant.
for
Such a
that.
solid defenseman.
Oh,
And,
dominant.
and he re-signed next year with the Marlies.
Yep, re-signed with the Marlies.
Marley's 24 Calder Cup
Yep.
champs. You heard it here on the Buzz Pod, episode 98.
I want to talk about this upcoming weekend. I mean, I know Apap's got a big event coming up that
Yeah.
you put together in honor of your dad.
Yeah.
Can you just what?
Millsy, will you be there?
I will not be there.
He played last year, but
I played there last year.
you're up north this weekend, right?
Yeah, it's my anniversary, so I can't be there.
Oh my God! What a great anniversary playing the Apap special.
Yeah.
Jenna would love it.
It is a very special event. It's awesome that Tommy puts in the work, his family and friends put in the work to do it. I'm very fortunate to know the Apap family, to know his dad, and just the guys that show up. It's just a very special game.
Apap, can you talk about it a bit?
Yeah, I mean, so last year was our first one. Mills played in it. A bunch of my college buddies played in it. And then just we were talking about earlier, but there's a bunch of guys that are in Michigan that are pros that play at a high level. So we ended up getting really good crew. We had the Hughes brothers, Josh Norris, Rensky playing. We had some good names last year and hopefully some good names this year, but it's hard to put on this event because guys got weddings, bachelor parties. So it is tough getting guys, but I've had a lot of help through some of my buddies. But the event itself, so my dad had ALS for, I think it was about 10 years, and it was a battle. Like you're slowly, when you have ALS, you're just deteriorating, like you're losing muscle in different spots. And luckily, it lasted 10 years. They give you 3 to 5 years to live. And I remember when he sat down with me and my brother and sister, and my parents told us, it was just like, it was almost like this can't be real, it can't be happening kind of thing. But he carried himself with an incredible attitude. Whenever we asked him, how you doing? He'd say, it's a good day for a good day. So that was like kind of his.
That's your tattoo,
his
no?
motto. Yeah, I got that tattoo here. But, which like I didn't need to get a tattoo to remember my dad.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll never, I think
You don't
about
gotta
him
tell
every
me
day.
about tattoos, bro.
Yeah. I think about him every day.
Get 'em.
It was just like a little thing, a little honorary thing. But
Yeah.
he still inspires me every day, his attitude. And like imagine not being able to shower yourself or go to the bathroom yourself or just do anything. Like I remember when he couldn't drive a car anymore, and that stung him. That one hurt. But he still like kept his unreal attitude. He loved watching us play, loved watching the Sparty boys play.
Always was at the games. Always at the games.
Always at the games.
Always.
And, like all my buddies, their parents were great and always helping out. And my family's always helping out. So we are surrounded by a lot of good people. So we said, you know what, let's put a game together. And all for my dad's foundation, all the money goes to, because ALS, there's no cure. But which of course we want to send money to do research and find a cure. That would be incredible. But in the meantime, there's a lot of people suffering with ALS that aren't able to afford it. And luckily, like for us, my grandparents stepped in, and my grandpa, he was well off, and he helped. We put a ramp in our house, and we did like a handicap accessible bathroom, but not everyone has that that ability and the means to do that. So we started this foundation where all the money is going to families that need it, whether it's like a new wheelchair, nursing care, just meds in general. That hopefully will help these people. So this event, we raised a lot of money last year, and we're hoping to just continue that so we can help people out.
Where can viewers go on and donate?
You can go on pcaals.com and there's a link on there if you're looking to donate, which I mean we're thankful for any type of donation.
Mhm.
It adds up in the long run. And if you're coming to the game, it's this Saturday, which I don't know how many people in Michigan are listening, but
We got a couple.
Yeah,
Do
we-
you?
yeah.
I know you guys are Milwaukee based right now, but yeah, I'm sure. And we'll spread the word. We'll be reposting this podcast.
So what rink?
Birmingham Ice Arena, 6 p.m. If you want to go watch some good hockey.
Some good hockey
Yeah.
and you
For a
guys
good cause.
and yeah, for a great cause.
Great cause.
And in honor of Apap's dad. And you got 2 new players coming because we're going.
Are you guys
We're going.
going?
We're going.
Oh,
We're going. We're going.
We'll be there. Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'll add you to the list.
Yeah.
be
Dude, that's
there.
the close I
That's
came to cry.
unreal,
That's the
boy.
close I came to
Yeah,
cry.
we can't
We can't cry. We're about to tell him we're going.
Holy shit. That's
But,
unreal.
oh, yeah.
That's really cool.
That's awesome. So PCA
That's really
ALS.
So the Buzz Pod is buzzing to
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Driving to
No,
Michigan.
it's awesome, and it's like you got a bunch of great players, and it's cool because the stands are packed. Bunch of people, friends, family are out there. They got a
all
bunch
the
of
old
raffles
school
and
fans in
stuff.
Michigan. The guy
Yeah.
that led the ECHL and PIMS this year, he's playing.
There's gonna be a fight now for sure.
Yeah.
For sure a fight.
No fight. No.
I don't know if we're
Says
ready to fight. Like, yeah, we don't want you dropping the gloves with
No,
the
no.
Larkin.
No. No. I'll let him know though, like, hey, take it easy.
Yeah.
If you make me look bad, I'm coming.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. The
Very
pleasure is all ours.
I'm fired up, but Millsy, I'm sorry you're gonna miss it. That's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, I know. I'm pumped. I'm bummed that you guys are coming to Michigan. I won't be able to see you guys.
You're gonna have to
Well,
get
we're
on
ju-
one
we're-
knee and
we're-
change the
we're just
anniversary.
we're just gonna go. Yeah, that's true. When you get married, you change the
Yeah,
anniversary.
anniversary. Out the
Uh,
window. New Annie.
But
Yeah.
we're
Pick a new
we're
weekend.
probably gonna drive up on Saturday on the day of the game and then stay
Okay.
that night and then drive back the next day.
I can't wait.
Okay.
You guys are
I know that's
That's
awesome.
That's all I did all day at work is
Plan,
message my
it's
wife.
planned.
Hey, it's okay.
Planning.
Yeah.
You're coming Saturday morning, you said?
We're gonna leave
Yeah.
here. We wake up at 4, so we're just gonna
Yeah.
wake up at 4 on Saturday. We'll try to get there by 11.
Yeah.
And just haul ass in Michigan.
Right
Yeah.
to hit
Yeah.
11 a.m. and we'll be hanging out.
We'll be hanging out all day. What's the day look like? The whole day look like?
Events?
My
6
family and I we go from 11 to 3. We'll be setting up. Like, there's a huge, like,
We'll help you
raffle.
set up.
We'll be there
If
to
you
lunch.
guys wanna help set
help
up.
set
you
up.
can help
So
set
we're
up.
leaving at 4. It's a
Yeah.
5.5-hour drive. We lose an hour. We're
Yeah.
good to go. We're gonna be there by
We
11.
do lose
maybe,
an hour, which is tough.
maybe a little after 11. We'll be there though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our plan.
I mean, you guys don't have to get there till 6. I just need you
Well-
on the ice.
well, the thing is, is we wake up at 4, so it's like
Yeah.
when we get to
Yeah.
4. It's like okay, we can wait.
We're gonna
4 hours
wait.
and then go to the game,
Yeah.
or we can just leave now. So.
Yeah.
All right.
We're
Yeah.
gonna
I
be
mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take any help we can get.
Yeah.
If you guys are playing, that's so cool. Yeah.
Well, I'm-
Love that.
Can we get a spot on the
Fans will
roster?
love it. Oh yeah, we haven't posted the rosters yet because
Okay.
it's hard. There's a couple guys that are maybe still. So
All right.
Nice.
Right on.
We haven't
So,
posted the
all right, I
roster.
got a spot on the roster. That's huge.
yeah.
It's like Nico's like, "Can I go there before
525.
the
Just played
season?"
only 525.
Yeah.
Can I say the full?
Who's the coaches?
Yeah.
If I play well, like you think there's any
Yeah.
scouts?
I mean, there might be this year. I don't know. There could be some scouts.
Oh, all right. I'll get a good dino in. But anyway, boys, like that's. I mean, you got some.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for coming on. Seriously,
Yeah,
you guys are
yeah.
both fucking beauties. Like,
Yeah.
That was a
Thanks
blast.
for having us. It was a pleasure.
This has been unreal.
Can you stand up real quick so all our
Yeah,
all
yeah.
our viewers? My dad loves watching the podcast. Love you, Dad. That's the tattoo I was talking about.
Show
Yeah,
them the
yeah.
dad one.
You gotta get it closer there.
Show them
Oh,
the dad one
yeah.
too.
Yeah, it's a good.
The end
Good
anyway.
day for good
It's a-
day, baby.
Yeah. Oh,